So from the book, there was a long discussion yesterday about this course. That should we have or should we not have this course in the new curriculum? Mixed output. Afterwards, I said it should not change. Another Nasim sir from Duet, the VC of our Duet University, he said it's not that much necessary. So still working on it. It's a very, lengthy process to change or to upgrade your course curriculum, global curriculum. I hope we will finish very soon, and we will let you know about the updated course curriculum. Hopefully, we will start this from next year, inshallah. If everything goes right, fine, everything, we got all the permission from the UGC, then inshallah from the next year, we will start the new course. And I will see that our new courses, we actually have really some interesting topics. Hopefully, we like it. Anyway, because this assembly language, everyone is talking about this assembly language course. What do you think actually? Is it that much unnecessary?
So,
until today, what do you think?
So, up until now, assembly language in my sector, professionally, I do as a part-time work as an online developer. So, learning about assembly language was actually help for me. I really could know that there were some basic parts of the background programming system that I needed to know in the hardware section, because I wasn't really familiar with this, and normally the outside courses doesn't even tell us about the assembly language or the development that it needs to do. Yeah. So I think this course is needed. To me, I can say it about myself, this course is needed, because if it goes to another course's side factor or some side course or some side chapter, I don't think they will be much elaborated as like this course is going on right now.
Okay, we had, thank you very much, Mr. Mohamed Rahman, for the feedback. We had a very long discussion last night, about this course, about microprocessor. One of our VC of our Duet, he said that, yes, it is necessary. For example, we are trying to add this assembly language with the microprocessor course. Because when I was a student, I also did it the same way in SAST, although a long time ago, like 15 years, 16 years ago. At that time, we did it together, and we had a lab, microprocessor and assembly language, theory, and also one credit lab. We did it in the lab. We had a different lab for microprocessor, only for the microprocessor and assembly language. We had in the SAST, we have a different lab for operating system. We had a different lab for the data signal processing. That's a different story, but we cannot, if you think in that way, if you want to match with that standard in our it takes time. And not it is possible. It is possible, but it takes a little bit. Absolutely trying everything to improve as much as we can. Of course, we have limited resource, we have limited facility and everything, and we have a limited scope as well. So within this limited all of this, we are trying our best. So the discussion yesterday, they said that yes, assembly language, microprocessor, these types of course is needed for those students who are actually in the future, they're working on this similar kind of pattern. You are working on the system level. Very few. Of course, 90% of you are going to be software engineer, but not really at least the core of the system level of the computer. Many, and very few of you maybe in the future. I don't know, until today, maybe in the future we'll do much more than that. But until today, whatever we have seen so far, that very few students are working on the system level coding. Right. So let's say like 1%, 2%, 3% of the students. So for them to design an entire course is actually not that much, realistic. That is their the Nasim Sir's feedback. But Kagawat sir says that we should not change this kind of core course. It should be there. So we are actually in the middle of two expert suggestions. We are working on it, how we can, put this course, the microprocessor course, into somewhere else. I saw the microprocessor course, the course content. I'm not sure. I'm really not sure, because I told you every time, I always prefer in one thing, which is whenever I teach or whenever I learn anything or any topic or any course, or when I teach any topic or any course, I want to make sure that whatever I'm teaching or whatever I'm learning, I can use it in my daily life or in the future life, or maybe I just learn it for a future use. Some of the course content and some of the courses, whatever actually we are teaching, they are really not that much, what should I say, updated. Nothing is useless, right? Let me tell you one thing, nothing, you don't say that this course is not important for me or it will not be needed. Never say that. Never, ever. Whatever the course are applying or whatever the course curriculum is, because we are doing like hundreds of hours just to add one topic, just to add one course. So there are 1,000 reasons, right, to add one topic or one course, according to best of our knowledge. Not only expert knowledge like Akbar sir, the Nasim sir, and the other experts from other university, something like that. So they're expert. So we are working on it, but I still also feel that some of the content we need to upgrade ourselves. So that if I'm not changing, not really, we just a little bit upgrade. Although there is not argument, a discussion with the faculty that we should not change our syllabus that frequently. We're actually not doing that frequently. The syllabus we are working or you're studying or teaching, this is like long ago, like 1992, 3, 4, 5 at that point. So we have not changed it yet. But we know that our computer science, our engineering courses, they actually updated every time, right? Every year we have a new technology and new things. So if you don't update ourselves according to the need of the market, according to the upgraded technology, I think it will be difficult for you as a graduate to cope up with the market. The job market and your future career. So it's a long debate. Actually, it's a long debate. Someone says that we should not change some of the core courses. Someone says that we should change in a way so that we can upgrade ourselves. So as I said, it's a long debate. So we are working on it. But one bottom line is whatever you have now or in the future, in your undergrad, in your master's, or wherever you go, whatever it is, the course syllabus, think about one thing, that do not tell any time in your entire life that I don't need this course. Doesn't matter it's an assembly language, doesn't matter it's psychology, doesn't matter it's English 104, doesn't matter it's ART some courses. There are so many reasons that you actually need this knowledge or skill in the future. Well, you never know. All right, so there's a misconception. So please don't tell or then don't think in that way that I don't need this course. There is a common perspective from the students that I am a software engineer. I will be a software engineer. I don't need to know about the networking. I don't need to know about business. Absolutely wrong. How do you know that when you're going to do a job? Where you're going to do a job? What will be your job responsibility? How do you know? Nobody knows. You never know, right? So I actually telling the same thing to all of my students that please change your misconception. Some of you has misconception, not all of you have that misconception that not only you, by the way, I actually heard this one from your senior or the alumni students, I also told them the same thing, that please do not say that. I have my own life experience. The same thing. Whenever I have the same problem. So now I understand. So I should not, let you do the same mistake what I did in my life, right? So everything is important. So try to just to learn the knowledge. Try to learn it and try to have a skill. Any skill. No skill is actually worthless if you have that skill properly. Anyway, I'm telling the same thing again and again. Sorry about that, because we are discussing the same topic every day, every single day. So many meetings, hours of meetings and discussions and debates and everything, just to make ourselves better, just to make ourselves, upgraded, right? So that is our main intention, so that we can give you a very good facility and of course an environment and an opportunity. First of all, opportunities, so that you can learn something, right? That is our goal. We are not best. We know that we are not best, but at least we are trying our 100%. Every one of us, right? So trust us, believe on us, and help us. All right, fine. Okay, so I hope, I cannot remember. Please remind me, because I cannot remember until what point we have discussed. I absolutely have no idea. Anyone?
So multiple initializations.
Multiple definition, right? Multiple definition and multiple initialization. This one. Okay, very good. Fine. So let us discuss from here as well multiple definition, as it is a part of the multiple initialization. So hope you remember that whenever we, because the data allocation for any, let me share one thing because I learned so many things every day. I try to learn so many things from my seniors, from the expert. Yesterday we had a meeting, as I said, Mr. Kaikwat sir and also Nasim sir. I learned so many things from these two very honorable well-wisher of us. Nasim sir said that as a computer engineer, right, so there are some very core courses, right? If you want to be a software engineer, especially, there are some very core courses which you must know, right? So he emphasized on 3 to 4 topic or the courses which you must be very, very, good, which is very good, understanding. He said that he also learned from his experience. Okay, he said that as a computer engineer or as a software engineer, you must need to know data structure very well. Of course, C programming, mother of all language, structured programming, C programming, because if you know how to do the C programming, you can do any kind of programming, not a problem, right? So you must know the C programming very well. Then you can learn any other things, no problem. So you must know the C programming, the structured programming, and then data structure very well, algorithm very well. Maybe we don't have this separate course in our current curriculum, but we will have in the new curriculum. If you have already passed the course like this one, I suggest you learn by yourself, right? Okay, so you have to know the data structure very well. You have to know the algorithm very well. Algorithm is you have to have that ability to solve the problem, any problem. By the way, I'm not expert on programming, but when I was a student, I actually saw the environment around myself. Everyone is like, most of them are like a very good programmer now. Now I can see that, but now I'm in a different. I saw them. We have our teachers never taught us like that much about, okay, do this one, do that one. We actually he just show us the path, and we explore ourselves throughout that path. He showed us that we have an ACM contest, right? You know that ACM contest, right? World and national and world ACM contest. So we have our internal competition, like competition means how many, let's say every day we have, whenever we stay together. So we actually kind of say, okay, how many problems have solved today from the ACM list? I think, you know, there is some problem in ACM list, right? You know that, right? Don't know? ACM problem list. Nobody here is actually a programmer. I mean, anyway, there is a, I think, there is ICPC always we have, right? The International and National Programming Contest.
Yes,
So, so that track programming contest is actually the ACM contest. We call them ACM contest because it is organized by the ACM. So that ACM contest, they have their problem list. So like hundreds of problem list. And the students like you, they actually try to solve all the problems one by one. So whenever you solve any problem and submit to their websites, they will accept it or deny it, right? Something like that. So if you write it correctly, they will accept it. So you have an account, and the more you solve the problem, your ranking will be higher in the world ranking of this problem solver. So we actually have our internal competition that, okay, what is your ranking? 2,200. Okay, what is your ranking? 2,100. So it's like internal competition. We actually enjoyed a lot because our teacher showed us, okay, this is your platform, go and explore. So we have that environment. We had that environment that, okay, solve the problem. We solved, although I'm not good at programming, but we solved, we tried. We solved each of the programming, some of the programming contests from other parts of the world, and then we try to solve it. Then you submit it, then we check it again. So that's why we have our students in SAS, my friend, my juniors, my seniors, they actually have in this way, they prepare themselves and they have that problem solving. And I still can remember there are so many of them now is working in Google, in Microsoft, in NASA, in so many places, just to doing this, so many. Not even one, two, so many. I personally know them. Just doing this, that every day they're doing practice about the programming. Especially they are very good at math and they are very good at problem solving skill. Problem solving skill. Remember, they know how to do coding, maybe one or two programming language, let's say C or Java or C++ like that. At that time, we didn't have Python or any other thing. We always prefer to work on the C or Java or something like that. So I saw them how they grow up. I grew up, in front of my eyes. And now they are working in many of them, Google, Microsoft, Apple, everywhere, NASA, everywhere. It's not like that they are, the superhuman. Very shy person, very humble person, but very genius, super genius. Choose super genius because they prepare themselves like that. They have a very good problem solving skill. And the employer also asked, whenever we had a meeting, the employer also asked the same thing, that your students know how to do coding in C, maybe in some level, but they have very few knowledge or very low level of skill for whenever I give them any problem. That means your problem solving skill is really not that much good. So you have to improve yourself. And yesterday, Nasim sir also told us that the students, if they have these two skills, that they know how to write the code in C or Java or something like this, or the basic programming, then they can learn any other language after that, no problem. But basic things should be learned very nicely and have a problem solving skill. Combined, if you have these two combination of the skills, all of them, the employer, the BCSA, the other experts, everyone says that. And I also saw that you will never, ever have any problem to get a good job. That's for sure, guaranteed. Okay. So please, I suggest you, because that is the experience we have so far, also experience from my, so please try to learn some skill, especially problem solving skill, and especially the basic about, and also you have to know all others, that is for sure, because you never know what you're going to be needed. So as a programmer, that is the first thing you have to consider. All right. So about the networking, it's a different story. It's a different story because we are still not have that much facility or opportunity to give you the measure in something, because generally an undergrad student, or in undergrad level, you should not have any major or minor thing. All of us, all of you should be the similar kind of types of course. Then after the graduation, then you choose your path. Okay, so in generally, it's in undergrad, there is no major or minor, right? Everything is measured. Everything is needed. Okay, so I'm sharing this experience because I hope it will help you to prepare yourself as well. So please try to have the skill, and also please make sure that you have the problem solving skill. Same as the networking as well. You must have the real life problem solving skill. Nowadays, everything is OB based. So your question will be also OB based. Now forget about those kind of old type of question that what is this, what is that. Now everything is OB based. So you will have scenario based or problem based or case study based question. All right, so you have to understand the fact, and you have to implement your knowledge into that case study or that scenario to answer the questions. All right. And it is not only it is from the UGC, and it's from the government that all of the universities should be doing this one. That is mandatory. So we are shifting from one types of education to the OB based education. Still, we have so many limitations. Still, we are not sure everything about this OB, but we are working on it. We are learning. So please prepare yourself in that way. So that suddenly in the next year, whenever everything is OB based, everything is new curriculum, so you actually not feeling like you are nowhere else. So prepare yourself mentally, change your approach of study towards your study. It will not be a problem. And of course, this kind of changes from the government, from us, it is actually, it will help you a lot. Okay? But also don't think that it is much more difficult. It is actually helpful for you for your future. Whenever we talk to the employer, they also say the same thing. All right, so mentally prepare yourself that you are going to start the new types of question, new types of study approach, or the new types of syllabus, inshallah, from the next year, which will be everything OB based, scenario based question. Anyway, okay. So let us start. So we have multiple definitions we have discussed. I think you can remember that whenever the assembly language try to allocate the memory location into the memory, generally they put it into the serial, into the main memory, right? Into serial, not randomly. So this is the best example that how the assembler put or store the value into the memory location. For example, we can see that we have three different types of value here. First of all is the DB, DW, and DD. I hope you remember what is DB, right? What is DB?
Define byte.
Correct. DW?
Define what?
Exactly. And DD?
Define double word.
Define double word. Correct. So define double word. Very good. So these are the three types. So this is just an example. These are the three types of value we have. These are the values, and we know that we need to convert it into the hexadecimal number. Then we can store it, so we convert it into the hexadecimal. And after that, look how the assembler store the data. For example, for the first one, it's stored into the first byte position because it is just one byte location. That is the sort variable. After that, you can see the value variable. We have 2 bytes. That's why this byte and that byte. And we know that it's using the little Indian byte ordering because the least significant bit will store first position and then the other one. That is the same way to the other variable. That means it's actually serially. You can see that X means the X position, right? Then the next position, then the next position, then the next. And it's all serially. It will help you. These types of allocation, memory allocation, will help us to understand the symbol table, which we are going to discuss right now. It is symbol table. Remember what is the symbol table? Anyone? No? Maybe you didn't discuss. Anyway, no problem. Let us discuss this one, what is symbol table. Before that, so we can see that we have an option to do multiple definitions. It's very similar to the array. in the high level language, right? So here we call the multiple definition. We can do in several ways. We can do it like in this way, because we know that each of the characters represent or it needs or requires 1 byte of data. So that's what they have written DB, and it is just one message, but different location. We can write in this way. We can write in that way. We also can write exactly this way as well. Remember, these are all text. Whenever you have the text, you must have that inversion, single inverted comma. Okay, so that is the one way we can do only the text. After that, we can do also the mixture of the text and the numbers. All right, mixture of the text and the numbers. Of course, we can see that the text, whenever we have, these are all single quotation, but the number doesn't have the quotation, which is very normal. We can also write in this way. Most of the time, we write in this way. All right. So, so that is the mixture of the text and number. We also can define numbers like this way. This is our array. First position is this one. Second, third position. We also can write it in this way as well. Remember, without inversion comma or inverted comma, right? Because if it would there's the inverted comma, that means it's a character. Without inverted comma, it's a number. It's very simple. So we also discuss about that if, let's say, we have very large array. Here we can write like 5, 6, 7 numbers, not a problem. But if we have 100 numbers, then so we need to write 100 times here, not really. So we can do it very similar, like this is called multiple initialization. We're just using this format to define a very large or any number of the components. We know that the format is the variable name, the keyword, we call it them times. How many components should we have in this variable? That means how many components we have. Let's say if you need 10, you should write 10. If you need 200, you write 200. Okay, it is very similar to the third bracket whenever we define an array in a high level language, right? Inside the bracket. So this is that number. This is the type, which type of data or which types of variable it is. So in this case, it is DW, and this is the initial value of all the value. So we must have the initial value, right? So that's why we need to have this. So this is the way we can easily define this kind of array on the table. Instead of writing on one by one like this, we can write just in one line, and it will define 8 values, which will, the name will be marks. And each of the values will be DW type. Remember, each of the type, each of the elements, we have 8 elements. So each of the elements of the marks variable will be DW type, and each of them has the initial value of 0. Like this. Okay. Make sure you understand. As you can see, it is also written that the times directive is useful in defining the arrays in the tables. Fine. Let us see about the symbol table. What is symbol table? Anyway, any questions so far? No?
No, sir.
No, sir.
Right. Let me give you the attendance first. I always forget to give you the attendance. Register told us to take attendance in the middle or in the beginning. Let us follow it. Please remind me, because most of the time I actually forget to take the attendance. Your section C. One more thing, I actually asked the same. I feel that you always hesitate to talk to me. Can I know the reason? I mean, many of you really hesitate to talk to me. What is the reason? The reason is that I am very rude, I am friendly, I am not helpful. That is the reason. Or what is the reason? Whenever you need it, you actually not, talk to me. So what is the reason actually? It's actually harmful for you. What is the reason? Am I very rude? Yes, sometimes I'm very strict during the class, which is needed, which is very strict. But generally, I don't know. Many of you know me very well, but I'm not that much rude outside the class, right? So a request to you that if you need anything, so please don't hesitate to contact with me. I will try my best to help you. But if you are not contact with me, so then you have the problem, you have the issues. So we might have some problem as well. So please, my suggestion that yes, I'm very strict during the classes because we have to be, otherwise we cannot maintain the rules proposed by the IUBT. But at the same time, also really helpful if you need any help. And now I have new responsibility, so I can do better. I can do more compared to the previous role. All right? You understand?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Fine. Can you tell me that what is the reason that you don't really hesitate to contact with me? Because you're afraid with. That's why. What is the reason? Don't worry, it is not an exam. You can tell me, no problem. Huh? Still, look, you are actually still hesitate to.
স্যার যদি অভয় না দেন তাহলে আমি
No, Bengali, please. Speak English. Yeah. Please.
Sir, actually, sir, they are all. We all are afraid that we might get failed, sir.
You might get what?
So fail, sir.
Fail.
Yes.
Just to ask me question.
No, sir. I mean, we can get marks, sir. That's why, sir. Many of us think that way, sir.
Is there any time? I mean, is there any incident in entire time that it happened previously?
No, sir. Actually, sir.
Okay, there are so many. Maybe you are doing the first course with me. There are so many students actually did so many courses with me before. Is it happened? I mean, previously, like Mominur Rahman, I still can remember. You actually didn't get any. I mean, some of the courses, right, Mr. Mominur Rahman, you didn't get the good grade, right?
Yes, sir.
Is that the reason that I am very strict, or I don't give you marks for any personal reason or any other reason, or the reason that you actually didn't answer didn't give me the correct answer? What was the reason? Is that the reason that I was so angry that I didn't give you marks? Or is there any personal problem or any other problem for that I didn't give you marks? Is that?
So I'm going to be honest here. No, I don't think that you are that much of a strict. Yes, there were sometimes that you were pretty angry with this, but I don't think that I'm going to say that you are that much rude or anything. But that kind of the fear is actually rolling us down. When did I get the fear? Normally, I just came from a residential college. So I think you have the idea where the college teacher was like, if you talk to them or even look at them with the high eyes, they're going to punish you for the whole day. I mean, that fear is still inside of us. Many of the students here came from the same possibility of the college, and we actually have that mentality that whenever we're going to talk with the teacher, we're not going to say anything else, or maybe we're going to go shy about it, not going to say anything extra, maybe that will deduct us some points or anything. I don't know, sir. Even though university is more mature place to live in, but still, sir, that fear hasn't left us already.
Exactly. So why you don't change it? Because it never happened. It never, ever happened to any one of the faculty in the university that for the personal reason, or if you ask any question or help, for that reason you get less marks. Never, ever. So why you still have that mentality? Because it's not a school or college, right? So
the problem was that our base was like things normally. I was from a private school, so school was pretty strict with us. So that came us with me with 6 years. Then my high school, it also gave me a 5 years long. Then the college 2 years long. With like this 10 or 14 years of
Okay.
experience and this
No, why you cannot?
little by little things. And it doesn't actually change in a single day. That is the problem right now. And we are actually really bad with this because when we were going to graduate, I did a long term dropout from a course. So I was attending a job, but then I came back to the education system and trying to continue my study. So I felt that the fear of talking with a teacher or the fear of asking someone that is actually a really, really, really big problem in the job sector. When we cannot communicate, systems actually go down and people actually don't talk with us. But still, sir, I think that fear is actually consuming everything here.
No, that I understand, but that fear should not continue here in university level, right? Because you didn't get anything like the same treatment you have in school or college, right?
Yes, sir.
So why not? Why not? Why not here? Because always we think about that you are adult student, so you are adult, so you should act like an adult, right? So you're not a school or college like kid that you're actually really afraid of your teacher. You cannot ask the teacher. It's not like that, right? So we have scope.
It's not like that, sir, actually, sir.
Yeah.
It's like, sir, we are helpless, and we are not afraid, but we are helpless.
Why you are? No. Why you are helpless?
So we find it like if we. So how can I explain?
Yeah, so I understand that if you ask me, so you are thinking that if you ask me question, it make me angry, and I will remember your name and I will give less marks. Is it?
No, sir, not that.
So let me just clarify that none of the faculty, as far as I know, none of the faculty, including me, actually followed this kind of or do or did ever. That okay, you ask me a question, unless your attitude, your behavior is not horrible, unless that is very rare cases happen, but generally whenever we try to ask any question, even we have so many arguments with my faculty, I mean with my student as well, I don't have any problem. Let's say I say something in my first year, second year of my career here, I had so many argument with the students. I said, this is the way we should do. Some of the students said, sir, it can be this one, or they argue. Not a problem. Should not be a problem. Remember, we always follow that it is not like only one way delivery. It should be the double way, right? It should be the duplex. Duplex means it should do in the same time, both of the sides. So we will say something, you will also give your feedback. I always ask you that, please, do you have any question? Do you have any question? You can ask me question. You can discuss with me. You can do anything. So I still don't know. Yes, sometimes I'm a little bit, not angry, a little bit, I mean, not like the situation when you call me like 11 at night. So that is a little bit disturbing. Apart from that, I always, I mean, try to give all the kinds of answer and everything very patiently. So let me just clarify that please do not have that approach or do not continue that approach, whatever we have previously from your school or college or wherever you are. So please have a very friendly and transparent relationship with your faculty. It will help you. It will help you a lot. Trust me, it will help you a lot. Otherwise, you don't understand anything. Maybe you have a problem. You are not sharing with your faculty. Then you have a bigger problem. All right. So my suggestion, my request, not only with me, to the other faculty as well. Please try to communicate. Try to talk to them. Every one of our faculty, all of the IUAT, they are absolutely helpful. Okay. If you approach them properly, if your approach is good and appropriate, everyone will help you. That is guaranteed. So please do not afraid that much to ask any question or to get any help or ask or seek any help. All right? Fine. And another problem is that it is an online classes. Sometimes you avoid. That is another reason that during the online classes you actually avoid asking questions and avoid the involvement. During the conventional classes, that is much more helpful, right? But in online classes, you actually don't know the faculty very well. So that is actually another problem. So we cannot solve this problem right now, but I suggest you that please, if you have any query, any problem, you need help, or if you have any issues, it is always better to share with your faculty, all right?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. All right. So CSC 197 Section C, please respond. Shakil Ahmed. Moinur Rahman.
Yes, sir.
Saidul Islam.
Yes, sir.
Moinul Islam.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Shahriar Haq.
Yes, sir.
Fatimul Haqqani. Mukid Hassan.
Yes, sir.
Said Mukidul Islam.
Yes, sir.
Mujur Rahman.
Yes, sir. Yes.
All right. Nikon Kumar Das. Omid Hassan. Rubel Babu. Okay. Rizwan Ahmed. Jannati Naim.
Yes, sir.
Imtiaz Tasnim.
Yes, sir.
Shahid Ahmed.
sir.
Sadi Akhtar.
Yes, sir.
Afia Siddiqa.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, fine.
Sir.
Yes, all right. Rahul Devnath.
Sir,
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Abdus Sabur.
Present, sir.
Rohan Al Kabir. Rubayat Ahmed.
Yes, sir.
Samuel Rudrapahan.
Yes, sir.
Lami Akhtar.
Yes, sir.
Sumaya Islam.
Yes, sir.
Abir Hussein. Fahim bin Shoaid. Muhammad Mahbub Alam.
Yes, sir.
Johura Tamim.
Yes, sir.
Nashin Tasnim.
Yes, sir.
Jamiul Islam. Sharia Shimul. Tushar Gop. So many absent. Ashikur Rahman. Jannatul Firdaus.
Yes, sir. Janatul Firdaus.
Okay. Tahmina Nasrin.
Yes, sir.
Tahmidur Rahman.
Yes, sir.
Kaya Jannat.
Yes, sir.
Rakibul Hassan.
Yes, sir.
Sabiha Parvin.
Yes, sir.
Mehdi Hassan Shaju.
Present, sir.
Al-Amin Akash. Abdul Salam.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Anyone else? No? All right, fine. So many absent, 12 absent. But why there are 12 absent? The exams is over, so why there are 12 absent? Anyway, let us continue. So let us continue with the symbol table in assembly language whenever you declare any variable like this. So the assembler create a table. The name of the table is symbol table. So what is the table? We have two columns. You can see that. First column is the name of the variable which have been declared, and another one is called offset. Offset is a variable which we need to calculate the number of bytes we have declared. So this symbol table is kind of an index in a book, or you write a table of content in your report, right? So similar table of content or the index of a book. So what we have in that table of content, we have two information. One is the name of the topic on the left side, and the right side we have the page number. So if you want to go directly to some page or some topic, you go directly to that corresponding pages, right? Similar as here. After declaring this variable, the assembler create this table. Okay, create this table and give it to the processor to help the processor that, okay, it will help you. So this is the index of all the value you need to do this task. So now it is the task for the for the processor that I can use this variable, that variable, or this variable, and then I can directly go, and by using the offset value, I directly can access to the memory location. That is kind of an index for the processor to find out any data or to access any data. So that is the symbol table. Okay, just remember it is very similar to the table of content of your report or table of content or index of any book, by which we can find the topic very easily and efficiently rather than checking each of the pages. Right now, the question is how we can calculate the offset. Right? We need to calculate the offset. Remember, offset is not fixed. It depends on this declaration. Okay, so let us see why it is 0, why 2, 6, 26, and 4, 40. So let's say the first one. I think you remember the previous you have just said that whenever you declare a variable like this way, the assembler put it in a serial way, serial order, contiguous order. Consider that feature, then it will be easier to understand. Okay, so let us consider that this is our declaration. Right? This is our declaration, and we want to create some table with the offset. So let us calculate the offset. Fine. So first of all, this is the first variable, which is the value, and it is DW type. DW means defined word. Word means 2 bytes. And we know that it starts from 0, right? Always it starts from 0. The position is start from 0, like an array. It starts from 0. So if it starts from 0, that means it occupies 0 and 1 position or first position, right? The value variable in the memory, 0th position and first position. And then when the sum variable will start, next position, right? From the 3rd position, right? So that's why if you can see the starting position of the value variable in the offset, it is 0, right? And the starting position for the sum variable is 2. Because 0 and 1 is occupied by value variable, and then the second variable, second position, third, that 2 means 3rd position, right? So this is actually the starting position for this value sum. That's how we continue. For example, some variables start from 2, then the marks. So this is the DD type. DD means double word. Double word means how many bytes? 4 bytes. So we have 4 bytes for the sum variable. That means 2, 3, 4, 5. These 4 positions of 4 bytes is occupied by this sum. So the next position, which is the 6th, that will be the first position for the next variable marks. Right?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So the similar way, marks is an array. So the marks times variable, 10 elements, DW type, and this is the 0. So how many bytes is occupied by the marks variable in the memory?
20.
20, right? Correct. So because the times means we have 10 elements, and each of the elements, each DW means 2 bytes. So 2 bytes for each element, we have 10 elements, so 10 multiplied by 2, 20 bytes. So this marks variable occupied 20 memory blocks. So previously we have 6. We started from 6. So if you add 20, then what will be the initial position of the next variable message? It will be 26, right?
Yes, sir.
So similar way. So let us continue. Let us check this message variable. So it is it's a multiple definition, because we can see that there are so many characters, and we know that each of the character requires 1 byte of memory space, and you can see that that's why they have written dB. So how many variable we are need? How many bytes we are needed for this? Remember, each of the character, it requires 1 byte of space. Can you tell me why, and why it is 14 and how it is 14? How many blocks they have they have used for this message variable byte? How many bytes? 14.
13.
So 13, sir.
14. 14.
13 or
14, sir. 14, sir.
Why 14?
There is
Because
space
we
and
calculate the
column
space, sir.
also be counted.
Yes, sir.
Including the space, it is 13 or 14?
Sir, 13, sir.
13.
Including the space, it is 14, sir.
And also 0, sir.
Exactly. You're actually missing this. So how come you miss this one? Is it comma 0? We have another one which is 0. Remember this one? We can declare as a text and the number together by using comma. So this is the same thing. We actually have 13 characters here, including the space. We have 13 characters here. So 13 plus another variable, another space, which is for 0. That is a number. It's not a character. We have 13 character and 1 number. So 13 bytes and 1 byte for the number, altogether 14. So the message variable occupies 14, which is started from 26th position, right? So if you add this to 14, then the next variable, which is the character 1, obviously we start from 14th position, right?
Yes, sir.
That is the explanation of the offset value. So we can calculate the offset value, depends on this declaration. And that's how the assembler creates this kind of symbol table. So it's kind of a index, as I said, and it will be very helpful and for the processor to find out, to access the value directly, so that you don't need to, look for it or need to search for it. Okay, so that's why the symbol table is necessary. Fine, it is a very popular question in the exam, in my exam, of course. So I will give you maybe one set of code here. You just need to create a table like this, offset table, and with an explanation. Fine. Any questions so far? Regarding the topic we have discussed.
No, sir.
Okay, fine.
No, sir.
That means you have understood very good. Please read at home or study at home, otherwise you may forget, especially the multiple initialization, multiple definition for different types, and also this symbol table. Very, very important for your exams. And also to writing the code. Whenever you start writing the code, we're still preparing ourselves. Still, we are preparing a lot. You might thinking that when we start writing our assembly language, original assembly language code, like we did in the C or the high level programming, the problem is to do the high level programming, you don't need that much preparation because you don't need to consider that much. You are not working on a system level. So now in the assembly language or any low level language, you actually need to consider a lot of things. Then you can write something in a proper way for a very specific machine. That's why it takes time. That's why it is that much intense work. That's why we are preparing ourselves a lot so that we can do it properly. Okay. Anyway, so let us continue although we don't have time, I know we have 3 minutes. I'm not just talking any new topic, just for your new, in the next class, we are going to discuss this, which is called the addressing mode. That means whenever we do any task, or whenever we have variable, we need to store somewhere, right? So whenever we store, sometimes we need to convert or we need to transfer from one place to another place. So these are the called, or the place where we store our data. This is called addressing mode. Okay, so that we have 4 different types of addressing mode, or we have 4 different ways we can store or transfer our data. 4 different ways, right? One is the register addressing mode, where we store everything into the register of the processor. Next one is the immediate addressing mode, where we transfer our data within our code. Direct addressing mode, which use the direct memory location, and also indirect addressing mode, which also using the memory location, but in a efficient way, because we have some problem. We have some problem in direct addressing mode. Okay, so the first 2 are very efficient. They are using the registers, but here in the memory part, so we're using direct and indirect memory addressing mode. So this direct and indirect addressing mode, they're using our main memory. So
Sir, our class time is over.
It is 2:13.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, okay. We are until 2:15, right? I know. Thank you.
No, sir, 2:10.
Or 2:10. Oh, I'm sorry.
Yes, sir.
I was thinking it's 2:15. Anyway, all right. Okay, thank you very much. Thank you very much. I know. See you in the next lesson.
Thank you, sir.